A dive bomber took a direct hit and exploded in midair, adding a huge smear of flame and smoke to the already crowded sky. Another, trailing fire from the engine cowling back toward the cockpit, smashed into the ground a few blocks away from the mansion. A greasy pillar of thick black smoke marked the pilot's pyre. Another bomber was hit, and another. The rest bored in on their target. Back before the Great War started in 1914, lots of Confederates believed the Yankees were not only enemies, but cowardly enemies. They'd learned better to their cost. The pilots in these U.S. machines were as brave and as skilled as the men the C.S.A. put in the air. Yet another dive bomber blew up, this one only a few hundred feet above the gray house. Flaming wreckage fell all around, and even on the presidential residence. The survivors did what they were supposed to do. One after another, they released their bombs, pulled out of their dives, and scurried back toward U.S.-held territory as fast as they could go. No anti-aircraft defenses could block that kind of attack. The gray house flew to pieces like an anthill kicked by a giant's boot. Some of the wreckage flew up, not out. The damn Yankees must have loaded armor-piercing bombs into some of their bombers. If Jake Featherston took refuge in the shelter under the museum, they aimed to blow him to hell and gone anyway. But Jake wasn't in the gray house, or in the shelter under it. Jake wasn't within a mile of the gray house, in fact. As soon as he heard Al Smith was dead, Jake had ordered the presidential residence evacuated. He'd done it quietly. Making a fuss about it would have tipped off the damn Yankees that he wasn't where they wanted him to be. At the moment, he was holed up in a none-too-fancy hotel about a mile west of Capitol Square. His bodyguards kept screaming at him to get his ass down to the basement, but he wanted to watch the show. It beat the hell out of 4th of July fireworks. Saul Goldman didn't scream. The CS Director of Communications was both more restrained and smarter than that. He said, "Mr. President, please, take cover. If a bomb falls on you here, the United States win, just the same as if you'd stayed up on Chaco Hill. The country needs you. Stay safe." Jake eyed the pudgy, gray-haired little Jew with something that was, for a moment, not far from hatred. He ran the Confederate States, ran them more nearly absolutely than any previous North American ruler had run his country, and that included all the goddamn useless Maximilians in the Empire of Mexico. Nobody could tell him what to do, nobody at all. Saul hadn't tried, unlike the Freedom Party guards who'd bellowed at him. No, Saul had done far worse than that. He'd talked sense. "All right, damn it," Featherston said peevishly, and withdrew. He affected not to hear the sighs of relief from everyone around him. Sitting down in the basement was as bad as he'd known it would be. He despised doing nothing. He despised having to do nothing. He wanted to be up there hitting back at his enemies, or else hitting them first and hitting them so hard they couldn't hit back at him. He'd tried to do that to the United States. The first blow hadn't quite knocked them out. The next one, he vowed the next one would. Catching his foul mood, Goldman said, "Don't worry about it, Mr. President. When you go on the wireless and let the United States know you're still here, that will hurt them worse than losing a big city." Again, the Director of Communications made sense. Jake found himself nodding, whether he wanted to or not. "Well, you're right," he said. "They can't afford to come after me like that all the time. They won't have any airplanes or pilots left if they do, on account of we'll blow 'em all to hell and gone." He pointed to Goldman. "Make sure there's a studio waiting for me just as soon as these Yankee bastards let up, Saul." "I'll see to it, sir," Goldman promised. He was as good as his word, too. He always was. That by itself made him somebody to cherish. Most people did what they could and gave excuses for the rest. Saul Goldman did what he said he'd do. So did Jake himself. People hadn't believed him. He'd taken more than 16 years, a lot of them lean and hungry, to get to the top. Now